The day before the polar vortex hit the south, I was looking on eBay for silver coins like I do quite often, especially junk silver coins, and I found a seller that had multiple lots of 16 silver coins, and they were all ending at about the same time, and I wasn't able to give these lots the normal due diligence that I typically give, and so I'm wondering if I ended up overpaying for this lot. And we're going to take a look at the 16 coins that came in that lot. It's going to be the 16 coins that are on this envelope. All of the coins that are on the side are going to appear in different videos, so stay tuned for all of those. And so I'm going to go through the 16 coins, and I've ranked them in the order of how interesting I think they are. And we're going to start with the least interesting ones first, and I've had a chance to look up the percentage of silver in each of these coins, and by the time we're done, I'll add up the total silver value of everything in here. Now, I paid $33 for this lot, and it was an auction, and there were a small number of bidders on this, maybe 5 or 6, and so to pay $33, I probably had to, well, obviously I paid more than everyone else to win this lot, but one of the things you have about an auction is when you pay more than everybody else, that kind of means that no one else wanted it at that price, and you kind of get into a situation where I think it's called the auction paradox, where if you win something on an auction, if you try to resell it, well, you were the highest bidder in the first place, so unless you make something different about it, you're probably not going to get your money back. So let's take a look at some of these coins. We're going to start off with, anytime you see this, these do not add a lot of value to any of your coin lots. These are Swedish coins from the 40s, and it's only 40% silver. So there's not going to be a lot in that. In fact, I got a second tin ore coin from 1945. And then even after that, there was a 25 ore coin from 1953. And another 25 ore coin from 1953. So none of those coins right there is even going to be worth $1. And then moving on to things that are other things that are still very easy to find, we've got a 1943 British 3 pence. We've got George VI on it. This one is 50% silver, so a little bit better than the last one, but still probably not even worth $1. Next up, we have this 10-cent coin from 1938. This one is from the Netherlands. At least with this one, it's going to be 64% silver, so we're getting a little bit better. Now, on this next row, we're going to start off with coins that are still fairly common, but at least everything in this next row right here is going to be sterling 92.5% silver. So this row is going to start with a common 1944 Australia 3 pence. George VI on that one. Getting into Canada, this one does have a hole in it, so numismatically the value is shot. Of course, I think the point on all these is that there wasn't really much of a numismatic value on any of these, because you're going to see several holes and well-worn coins from here. But still, this is a fairly old 5-cent coin from 1880. So at least that is sterling, even though it's not very heavy. Also sterling from 1910. This 5-cent coin is in a lot better shape. We've got, this one's going to be Edward VII on this one. This one might actually have a little bit of numismatic value. One thing I wanted to point out about this coin is there are 2 variations of this coin. It's called the pointed leaf variation and the rounded leaf variation. This is the wide leaf variation. The rounded one is probably worth 5 times as much in numismatic value. So that's one thing to look out with that coin. As we get something a little bit more obscure, if I can pick it up, here's another George VI coin in 92.5% silver, but this one is from Newfoundland before they were a part of Canada. So this one dates to 1941. This is the coin that caused me to mess up. Obviously, it's a very slick cull coin, but it is a large coin, and since it's sterling, there is about 0.15 ounces worth of silver in this one. And I'm sort of familiar with Victorian coins because my father-in-law gave me a collection of Victorian coins, and at first glance, when I first saw this one, I thought it was the half crown because of the round circle that goes around it. And when I thought this one was a half crown, seeing everything else in the picture made me think that all of these silver coins were larger than they really were. That was my mistake, but it caused me to perhaps overpay a little bit on this one. Instead of being a half crown, it is a 1 shilling coin. The half crown would be 2.5 times bigger than this one in silver weight. So that is, you still don't see those very often, but it is kind of a larger coin. Next up, we have 2 coins from Turkey, or perhaps the Ottoman Empire. This one is about 150 years old, and it's only 22% silver. This one is called a 10 para coin, but for a Turkish coin that is this old, despite the hole, a lot of the features are still pretty easy to see on that one. We'll compare that to this next coin, also from Turkey, but this one, this coin is nearly 200 years old. I believe it's going to be 48% silver, but this is such a tiny coin that it's still about I think it was about 0.048 ounces of silver. But this one is a 1 para coin from Turkey, and with coins that old, they were very common to be miscut. You can actually see kind of the circle around it that made it miscut. That's very common. That wasn't supposed to be the edge of the coin because there's kind of a line of stars that go around it, but still it was miscut quite easily on this one. Turn it around and the details are very hard to see on this one. Next up, this one was a little bit easier for me to figure out because if you look closely right here, there's the number 2, and right below that is the word piastres, which means this is an Egyptian coin. This one is very slick, and if it wasn't for the 2 piastres, I probably would have never been able to figure out what this one is, but it is 83% silver. A lot of these Arabic writings, if you're not familiar with them, they can just, especially if you're not familiar with the alphabet, it's just going to look like a lot of squiggles, and they're almost impossible to read. But thankfully this one had at least something on it that I could identify. This coin dates to about 1917, and the reason it has any English lettering on it is because during World War I, Egypt was occupied by Britain, and so they put in a new currency of millimes and piastres instead of the Kirsch coins that they used to use. Next up, This coin certainly is a problem coin. It's got a hole in it. It's got a almost a fold in it. However, a lot of the letters are, in my opinion, easy to read on here. And so I was able to pretty easily figure out what this coin is. This coin dates back to 1870. It is from Hungary. Now, it is only 40% silver. And the value of the coin is listed as 10. I know I'm going to mess up this word. Krajcar. 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 Written down here. Now at the top it says Valto Pence. Again, I can't read Hungarian, so I don't know what that means, but Hungarian coin from 1870. Here is our monarch one more time. I think it's King Joseph is the monarch on this one. All right, so this is the main coin from here. And this one is from Austria. I decided to do a little bit of research on this coin since a lot of coins from this era have just seemingly an endless array of letters that go around it. And if entire words are there, it's in Latin, and many words are abbreviated in one letter. So this coin around the edge, the Latin translation would say, Ferdinand I, by the grace of God, Austrian Empire, King of Hungary, Bohemia, fifth of that name. Flip it around, and where we see this is a 20 cruiser coin that has the double eagle look that a lot of coins from Austria, Hungary, anything that used to be part of the Holy Roman Empire, some of the early German states, all had this kind of, many of them had this double eagle look to them. The words around the edge on this one would translate to say, King of Lombardy and Venetia, Dalmatia, Galicia, and Lodomeria, Illyria, Archduke of Austria. So this goes back to a time where you weren't just king of one country. Apparently you were king of many countries. Flip this back over. And when this portrait was made, his father died. He was just about in his late 30s, so he's has a younger appearance than a lot of kings would. But he abdicated the throne a couple of years after this coin was made in 1946. He is in Austria. He was Emperor Ferdinand I, but in Bohemia he was King Ferdinand V. So that's why in the line around it, it said he was the fifth of that name. So there were 4 previous Ferdinands who had ruled over Bohemia. And so he was the king or emperor of multiple different countries. And that just, all of the countries that at one point made up the Holy Roman Empire, Austria, Hungary, Germany, they're all so confusing because we didn't live in that time. So this coin by itself is 58% silver. And it is a fairly large coin. And so it doesn't have as much silver as the British Queen Victoria's shilling, but it is a larger coin. It still has over 1/10 of an ounce of silver to it. The bullion value is about $3.50 now that silver is at about $25 an ounce. But I guess the numismatic value of this coin is still about $10. It is in, it's a little bit scratched up, and there's kind of a weird paint that almost appears to be on it, and kind of an unusual reflective shiny surface on this one. But this coin was certainly the highlight of this entire lot, and maybe this coin was overpaying for it. There were 5 or 6 coins that were new to my collection. All of the Egyptian, the 2 Turkey coins, the Newfoundland coin, and the Hungarian coin were all new to my collection. So, like I said, I paid $33 for this lot. If you add up the silver content of all of these, it was about 0.66. So right at 2/3 of an ounce of silver on here. So if silver is at $27, that would make this worth $18 in bullion value. So I'm hoping that I have at least a little bit of numismatic value out of this. And if nothing else, I think the coins that were new to my collection, especially this Austrian coin that's worth about $10, made it worthwhile to me. These Newfoundland coins, that one was in pretty good shape. So I like that one. The Turkish coins were pretty old, and I like the Egyptian 2 piastres as well. And so, not quite sure what I'll ever do with all of these 10 or 25 or 40% coins. I guess I'll just add them to my emergency silver collection. So, what do you think? Did I pay too much for this, or were the coins in here interesting enough that it was worth paying almost twice what the bullion values say they would be worth? So let me know in the comments what you think on that. And thanks for watching. Bye.